Here we go, brother.
What is it, salsa?
It's a little Cuban
merengue.
It's whatever you want it to be, brother.
This is no, it's not bachata. It's like hip hop mixed with a little bit of merengue.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I'm vibing with it, bro.
that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. We are back. We are live. We are in the house. My name is Christopher Gene Lopez. To my right, we have my right-hand man, the animal, Rodriguez.
That's
What's
right,
up, bro?
people. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm feeling good. This is episode 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is episode 13. We're going to have a fun time. It's just you and I. And so we're glad to be here. We're here in live Pasadena, California.
It's a great place to be, brother.
Mm-hmm. Expensive. I saw down the street gas was like $10 a gallon.
It's freaking ridiculous everywhere right now.
Hey, you voted for him. Hey, you voted for him. You voted
Shit, I
for
didn't
him.
vote for him.
All of your supporters voted for him.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, bro.
Yeah,
You've been gone for like over a week now.
Yeah. I've been in Atlanta.
That's right. You had a pretty big convention for your business, right?
Yeah, we had a big conference, and it's like 50,000 people. I don't even know the number at this point.
What's the purpose of this convention? Is it just like the training or, awards? Like what's the main purpose behind it?
Yeah, it's all of that. It's
okay.
training, awards. I would probably go as far to say like a revival for some people.
Oh, okay.
So it's all of that mixed together.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun, man. You get around like-minded people. You get around. Yeah. I mean, it's. You ever been to like a sports arena, like a big NFL, NBA arena?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the Staples Center count.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think a football arena is bigger, but yeah, just imagine that whole thing packed out.
Yeah.
From one company.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. So
a lot of energy, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw a lot of like clips and stuff like that. It looked pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was dope, bro.
Yeah.
How was your last week?
Mine was fun, dude. It was. I think it was like the first week where I was actually able to kind of catch up. Because sometimes when you're ripping and running, you're doing 3,000 things. You kind of burning the candle at both ends. You get a little burned out from time to time, and I just felt I needed a little break. And with you being gone, we didn't shoot the podcast. Gave me a little bit of time to just relax, bro.
Shit, I'll tell you, man. Just watching you work makes me want to smoke a cigarette. You're like a fucking chicken with your head cut off, running around everywhere.
I don't know how I do it sometimes, dude. I'm like thinking about like 10,000 things at one time.
Yeah, everybody needs to know about this man. I'm telling you, this is real. We'll be sitting here having a conversation like right after this is done. We're gonna be like, hey, so what'd you think? How'd it go? I'm like, it went great. And then he's gonna be like, hey, listen, in exactly 17 weeks, I have this goal, I have this plan. Here's what we're gonna do. Starts breaking out fucking pie graphs and charts and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, dude,
that's funny.
The fuck? Can we get to next week? So I see how you are, bro. You're definitely on top of it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard sometimes though, because I have so many ambitions and things that I want to accomplish that it's hard to get it all done at the same time, So prioritizing and planning is very crucial for me. If I don't plan and prioritize, like I don't get nothing done. Like, have you ever felt like you have so much shit to do that you just don't want to do nothing?
Yeah.
That's how I feel 24/7. I'm like, I got so much shit to do that I don't know what to focus on and what to do. Yeah. So I think, we always talk about having like a mentor or having someone to guide you. Like I'm always looking for people that are going to guide me and help me on whatever goal I'm trying to accomplish, So like right now I got a couple of big projects that I'm working on that I'm looking to collaborate with some people on those.
Nice.
So, but I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about, your line of work and your business, because our audience are all, looking to accomplish goals in their life. They're looking to start up businesses. And one topic that I've kind of noticed is that most people are scared. They're afraid of rejection, which is like the deep part. But then on the outside, they call it sales. Like, oh, I don't want to do sales. It's not for me. I'm scared of asking people for money.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of psychological triggers as to why, people are that way, and why they are afraid of asking others for money, asking others to do something, pretty much. And I personally think it's the fear of rejection. But what are your thoughts on that? What do you think is the reason why most people are afraid to start their own business and get into essentially sales? Because whatever you do, I don't care what you do, if you're a personal trainer, you're a barber, you're a videographer, I don't care what your craft is, you're going to have to communicate with other people, and you're going to have to ask them for business, one way or another. And all of your marketing efforts are just another way to get more people to see what you do so that you can ask them for the sale. So I'm aware of that. And, it took me a while to get comfortable with the sales process and develop my own philosophy in sales. But I think it's a crucial skill for any person that wants to be successful to have. Without having sales skills, people skills, communication skills, you ain't going to get shit done. You're just going to be one of those people that you notice that always has ideas, always has things they want to do, but they never accomplish anything, and they never really become successful. So I want to get your take on that.
Yeah, well, let's get very crystal clear with the language first, right? I'm going to dive into it, and you're going to see how all this, what I'm about to say, is going to make sense.
Yeah.
So not everybody, let me rephrase that. A lot of people say, I don't like sales, right? It's not that they don't like sales. And here's how I can prove it. Because all I have to do is ask, do you like shopping? Yeah, I love shopping. I like buying clothes. I like buying makeup. I like buying accessories and entertainment and all this other stuff, right? Fantastic. So then you need to understand that when you go shopping, you're actually partaking in a sale, but you're the actual one being sold, right?
Right.
Now, when I say that to people, their initial, it makes sense logically, but they're like, yeah, I still don't, I'm not on the same page with you.
Yeah.
Well, give me a second, okay? Listen to this, okay? My point is, you don't have a problem with sales. You don't. What you have a problem with, and what you're really afraid of, is you're afraid of this word, solicitation.
Yeah.
You don't want to solicit. And I can prove it many times over. If I have somebody, let's say, comes to me and says, I'm looking for a way to make money. Well, great. You're talking to the right guy. I can show you how to make money. Okay?
Yeah.
And I have a proven track record that I myself make money and I teach other people how to make money, right? And so they will see all that and go, yeah, well, that's great. But, and obviously it works. But for me, I'm just not into sales, right? I don't know how to sell. I'm not really good at that, blah, blah, blah. So then I trick them and I say, hey, let me ask you this question. What if we created an actual position where you're going to be doing the exact same task, selling the exact same product, but instead of you looking for clientele, the clientele's already walking in the door? Would you reconsider what you just told me? 100% of the time, you know what they say? Yeah, 100% of the time, you know what they tell me?
Yeah.
You have a position like that? And so I say, no, I don't. But that proves my point. You don't have a problem with sales because you're still going to have to sell, regardless whether you're going out that door to go look for the client or the clients are coming in this room to look for you. You're still going to have to sell. So even somebody who will say, I don't have any experience in sales and I'm not really good at it, if they knew that the client was coming to them, they would tell you. They would actually start selling themselves to you in the interview. Which, by the way, if you go to an interview, what exactly is an interview? You are partaking in another sale.
Right.
You're sitting across the table with your resume, a.k.a. your lie sheet, right? All these fucking lies that you have about how awesome you are. And then what is the...
They're exaggerations more than lies.
That's what they are, right? And what does the interviewer do? Yeah. So what are your... they ask you all these silly questions, right? And I like this one if you've ever been asked this one. So what would you say is one of your weaknesses? And you're like, dang, well, what do I do? Do I actually tell the truth or do I come up with some crafty shit, right?
Yeah.
And you think you're saying something that nobody else has said, right? Here's the line, right? You start selling yourself. Oh, well, one of my weaknesses, I'm a perfectionist and everything I do is I just want it to be perfect. So sometimes, blah, blah, blah. And you think like, oh, you're being slick. What you're doing is you're selling yourself. Now, the question is, what did you sell yourself for? You sold yourself for $19 an hour. Congratulations. You played yourself.
Yeah.
That's really, that's the reality. So people don't have a problem with sales. What they have a problem with is the idea of soliciting. Now, why is that? Because when you go solicit, Now we're getting deeper. There's a possibility that you can be rejected.
Right.
Which goes back to, see how everything comes back full circle.
Yeah.
So why do I explain this? Because you can't get past this until you understand it. Mm-hmm. You have to understand your psyche, your own psychological, the way the mechanics in it, right?
Yeah.
You're afraid of soliciting because you're afraid of being rejected. Mm-hmm. Now, I believe rejection is just embedded in our DNA. We're all afraid of being rejected.
Yeah, you're right. I study a lot of biology and trying to understand why we are afraid of that rejection, and it goes back to our ancestors. We all come from small tribes, very small tribes, and if you are rejected from the tribe, it means you're gonna die. So let's say you like, most men are afraid of going up to a woman and asking her like for her number, or asking her on a date or something like that, because they're scared of the rejection. What if she says no to me? Back in the day, if you ask the wrong girl, you're going to get killed by her man and like his friends.
And let me interject. Not just that, going way, way back to talking about like being a part of a tribe. Yeah. Because you're totally onto something. If you ask the wrong guy back in the day, you're the wrong girl, you could get killed, right? But also, if you ask a girl and she rejects you, and the tribe is small, all the other women just saw you be rejected.
Yeah, and your value's lowered, and then you're probably never going to have a partner. You're going to die lonely, miserable.
Yeah, you're never going to be able to reproduce.
Yeah, and so it is embedded in our biology that we are, quote unquote, afraid of rejection. But then you look at all of the people that are successful in whatever craft they are, and they have overcome that fear.
Yeah.
You can say they are courageous, and courageous is doing what you have to do regardless of being afraid. And then there are people that actually do not feel the feeling of fear. They have some kind of personality traits that they just don't feel that. And you can say they're either lucky or unlucky, because those people tend to be dangerous also. They're psychopaths and narcissists and people with these antisocial personality traits that allow them go through the world without feeling fear, without feeling remorse, without feeling pretty much anything, and they just do whatever they want and get whatever they want, and they destroy a lot of lives along the way. Yeah. But at the same time, there's people that have those same traits that are very successful, and they're a good part of society. They're police officers, firefighters. They don't feel fear when they go into certain situations. They're just wired differently. Yeah. But the majority of people, I'm talking about like 99.9% of the world, does have that fear of rejection, and that's who we're talking to. Yep. We're talking to the average person that wants to accomplish something, but they're like, fuck, like I like whenever I try to do something, I like this fear hits me, and myself, I had that fear, I have that fear, and I had that since I was a young kid. And I remember my first sales job was, I was 18. We had moved from Texas to Minnesota, and I went to the Mall of America in Minnesota, and I applied at Sears, and I got the position. And they're like, you can either be a teller or you can be a sales rep in the electronic department. And my whole childhood, I was super antisocial and like afraid of talking to other people. And I knew that I had that fear of like just talking to strangers and being rejected, and I purposefully told them like, I want the sales job just to challenge myself. And I think that was like the beginning of me like challenging my own thoughts and my own feelings and trying to better myself. Yeah. Because I knew internally, like, if I take that teller job, I'm just gonna like not look at people in the eyes and just fucking ring them up, and it's gonna be boring for me. Yeah, I'm gonna hate it. Uh-huh. And also, I wasn't gonna make a lot of money, and I knew in sales are like you can make more money, and I was money driven at that time because I didn't want to live in Minnesota. I wanted to come back to California and be a rock star, So I was looking to make as much money as I could in a quick period of time, and I got that job in the electronic department, selling TVs and cameras and stuff. And that was my first experience in sales, But I want to get your take on what do you think people need to do or understand, to overcome that initial feeling of fear when it comes to sales.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Solicitation and so forth.
Great question. Well, the thing about us is that we don't just have one fear. We have multiple fears happening simultaneously. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So for instance, right? You have a fear of being rejected. You fear of soliciting, fear of sales, whatever you want to call it. Okay. But at the same time, you also have another fear. Another fear is, what if I stay broke? What if I can't pay my bills? What if I can't do X, Y, Z, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I believe, at least I can tell you from my own experiences in my own life, what I've done is every time I've been afraid of something, my next thought is, but if I don't do this, then this other outcome is going to take place. So my question now is, which outcome am I most afraid of?
Yeah.
Right. And I say that because if you rewind the clock almost 11 years ago, no, I'm sorry, more than 11 years ago, at least 12 years ago, when I got the job interview at 24 Hour Fitness, okay, it was in Fontana. And I had just got fired from my job at Marie Callender's, right?
Yeah.
And about a week later, I got the job interview at 24 Hour Fitness. I went on monster.com and I saw an ad for 24 Hour Fitness literally down the street from my house. I got excited and I said, shit, let me apply, right? I didn't read the job description. Now, I was so silly that I thought I was going to get a job at the front desk.
Yeah.
I'm sitting inside I'm actually in the interview, right? If you remember Tanya.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm in the interview with Tanya, right? And everything's going great. And probably like 20 minutes in it, she asked me the question, so how much sales experience do you have? And when she asked that question, a red alarm went off in my head.
Yeah.
And I said, I literally asked, I blurted out, I go, why is that important? And she looked at me like I was stupid, and she was like, you're applying for a sales position.
Right.
I never read the description.
You're just like, I just want a job.
And I was like, fuck. Now, here's the deal. At that point, if I knew it was sales, I would have never applied.
Yeah.
100%. And I know this for a fact because prior to that, I had saw sales jobs at companies that I would have worked for. Because it was sales, I skipped over them. I saw 24 Hour Fitness for some reason, got super excited. I was probably thinking about the free membership.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't read the description. And now I'm 20 minutes into an interview, and she asked me, she said, how much sales experience do you have? And I said, why is that important? And she said, you're applying for a sales job. And in that moment, I'm telling you, it was like I remember it like it was yesterday, because it was like a fight or flight situation that was going on in my internal system.
Yeah.
Do I stop this right here, or do I somehow, some way make up some bullshit because I really need a job? So what I'm saying is, going back to what I just said, I had two fears happening at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of sales, but I'm also afraid of not making any money.
Yeah.
And it was the fear of loss. What if I don't get this job?
Yeah. Yeah. They say that all the time. You know, you're either going to have the pain of regret, or the fear of loss,
Or the pain of change,
which is the fear of the rejection.
Yeah.
You know, so it's along the same vein.
Yeah, totally. And you know, I've learned that fear is going to do one of two things. It's going to motivate you, or it's going to immobilize you.
Yeah.
It's going to do one of the two.
Yeah, it's the fight or flight response in our amygdala, you know, in our brain. Yeah. That is the hormonal response to fear. There's two sides to it. There's, you know, you get paralyzed, which is, you know, you just don't do anything. You run away, or you fight that fear and you go push forward, you know. And unfortunately, most people do become immobilized, and most people do run away from those fears, and they rather live in the illusion of comfort, you know, and which is why most people get stuck in jobs that they're not happy in positions that they're not happy with, in relationships they're not happy in, and they lie to themselves, you know. So one of my personal sales philosophy is just being as genuine as you possibly can with yourself, with your client, with your product, with everything that you're doing. If you're not genuine, people can tell right away when you don't believe in your product, when you don't believe in yourself, when you don't believe in what you're doing. You don't have any confidence, you don't have any conviction, and you're wishy-washy, and people will not buy from you. And you can see this like clear as day with any like new salesperson. Like, they're saying the same words as someone that's an elite salesperson, but they're getting no results at all because all of the intangibles are missing, you know. And to me, that is one of the key things is, you know, your internal conversations and how you feel on the inside and being 100% honest and genuine with people.
Yeah.
You know, so tell me a little bit about your personal sales philosophy or what you train your team.
You know, my sales philosophy has changed drastically. In the very beginning of my career, I was willing to, man, I would sit there and argue with the client. That's how
I remember that actually.
Yeah, that's how uncalibrated I was. You know?
Like, what do you mean you don't want to buy this? You need this.
How fucking dare you don't want to buy from me, you stupid fuck, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I got very, very good. Got very, very good at selling. And, you know this, I know this.
Yeah.
The mark of a great salesman is while they're selling you, you have no idea they're even selling you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like scripted, doesn't sound salesy. It just sounds like you're having a conversation and that's it. And so I think one of the what I try to teach my agency is, it's simple. I think an amateur salesperson, they sell from, if you could visualize this, client or prospect is right there, and then I'm here across the table, right? And I'm talking at you and I'm trying to win this match with you. I think a great salesperson, if you could visualize this, the prospect is sitting there and the salesperson is sitting right there too.
Yeah, next to them.
And so in metaphorically, if you can understand it, you know, you get it.
Yeah.
But basically the point is, it's a conversation. I'm not disagreeing with them. I'm not telling them that they're wrong or whatever it is. And just understand this. When you say it, it's probably wrong. But when the client says it, it's always right.
Yeah.
And that's the psychology behind it.
Yeah.
So I learned how to get along with people.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I learned how to get along with people. I learned how to become very likable.
That's funny. You know what's the first self-help book I ever read in my life? How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
And it's literally a book that teaches you how to be likable.
Yeah, how to stop being a dickhead. Yeah.
How to not have people hate you pretty much, and how to have people like you. That was my walking into the whole world of self-help and personal development and success and all of that. That was the first book that I read.
That was the first one?
That was the first one. I was like 16 or something. And I'm very grateful for it because it literally changed my life. You know, from that book, I started reading, you know, Think and Grow Rich and like all these crazy books. I've read a lot of books over the years that have shaped my way of thinking, shaped my way of being pretty much, and have transformed who I am, you know, because without that, I don't know where the hell I would be or what I would be doing. Yeah. You know, I would have never challenged myself. I'd probably be still living in my parents' house and stuff, and I'd never accomplished anything, you know, just living in fear. But because I came across these wise men and people that had wisdom to teach me, and I was open to it, I was able to learn and grow. And that's another key thing when it comes to a good quote unquote salesperson or anyone that's just a successful person. They're always learning. You know, you're always, like you said, your philosophy has changed a lot. Yeah. And the reason it changes is because you learn new things, and because you had a problem. Like, damn, why am I not closing? Why am I not getting the results that I want? So you have a pain. You know, you're not getting what you want. And in order for you to get what you want, you have to have new knowledge, or you have to have new skills, or you have to have a new something. Now, that something is your product or your service, and a salesperson can sell that. So the way I look at sales is all you are doing is you're communicating with another person, and communication is twofold: the ability to listen and the ability to be heard, you know, and you are solving their problem. Yeah. So the first step is finding their problem. What is it? What's your pain? You know, what is it that you want? And then finding a solution and how your service, your product's going to, you know, solve that problem for them. Yeah. And people will buy that, you know, and the more value that you provide for them, the higher they'll pay for it. Totally. You know, so that's all that sales is. It's communication and problem solving with your service or your product, and finding the right people for it. You know, so let's say you're in, like myself, I have a videography business, you know, and people want to have the emotion of capturing a moment for all eternity. whether it's through picture or through video, telling a story, having an emotion of like happiness or sadness or whatever it is. Why do people watch movies? You're literally, they captured an emotion that people feel, and it's solving a problem. I want to capture this forever, and you can deliver the best product for that, and now I'm willing to pay you whatever it is for it. And the better that you can solve people's problem, the more successful you'll be.
What I want to add to all this, right? Going back to the conversation of becoming a better salesman, right? Better saleswoman. What I've also learned on top of everything I just said is that the less you care about the outcome, the better you perform. Right? The less you care about the outcome, the better you perform. And the reason why that's so true is because when you're really, really attached to a desired outcome, you can't help but to allow it to. It's weighing too much on your brain while you're supposed to be performing.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's actually one of the main issues people have when they first start off in sales.
Yeah, yeah, in anything. If you're brand new to talking to women, and you're like, well, I want to learn how to pick up women, right? It's the same thing because you're just selling a different product. You're selling yourself, right? You're always selling yourself if you think about it. No matter what you're selling yourself. Really, that's the reality.
Yeah.
Right. But it's the same thing. So when you are too attached to the outcome, it affects your performance. And so while you're performing, you just have to go out and perform, and trust your skills and trust your techniques and trust everything that you've learned. And if you don't get the outcome that you wanted, then it's okay. And really, like today I close a lot of sales now, and it's like, if you look at my vibe, the way that I carry myself is like, you would think I don't care. And to an extent, I don't care. I care enough to do my job right.
Yeah.
But I don't care enough to where I can just relax and I'm calm and I'm just chilled out,
Yeah, it takes experience and it takes practice to get to that position.
Totally.
And awareness, but you have to have a process. You have to have a system on whatever your product or service is. So from the beginning till the end, like from the second that you shake the person's hand and introduce yourself to the point that you deliver the service and the product to your client, there needs to be a system and a process that you follow in order to get to the desired outcome.
Totally.
But like you said, you have to practice so much that it becomes second nature to you, where you no longer think about it. Like when you first drove a car, do you remember learning how to drive a car?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had to, there's a system to driving, but you had to, like, every single step, like, okay, first let me put the keys in the ignition, I forgot. I got to make sure I put my foot on the brake, turn it. Oh, it's not, why isn't it turning on, Mom? Well, you got to turn it more, like, oh, okay. And then you turn it on and you turn, like, it didn't turn on. Like, you got to wait a little bit more until it turns over. Okay, it turns on. Now let go of the brake or hold down the brake, put it in gear. Like, there's a process. Yeah. And then you're driving, you're like all paranoid and shit. You're scared. Like, you don't know. You're unaware. Your body hasn't really become one with the car yet. Yep. And sales is the same way. There's got to be a process to, introducing yourself to the person, building rapport, getting to know that person and asking high value questions as to what is it that they're here for and what is it that they want, building value on your product. And the hardest part for most people is then asking for the sell. Asking for that sell and then closing.
Because that's where the rejection comes.
Yeah. People think that asking for the sell and closing is the same thing. It's not. When you're closing, is literally collecting money, and most people, they don't have a process. They don't have a system. Yeah. They just kind of wing it, and they just hope people just, put money in their pocket. So
what do you think?
So what do you think, buddy?
You're interested? You want to buy now?
Yeah. So, it's like fighting. You learn combinations, you learn things, and then when you're actually fighting, you forget about it.
So AZD said it perfectly. Any professional spends years learning the techniques just so they can eventually forget them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you just said. Because so there's a science and then there's an art. You have to learn the science and you have to master the science, but then you have to move on to the art side. which
Yeah.
is now you're in the flow state. Now it just flows. But people will, well, are you doing what? Yeah, I'm doing everything that I've ever learned, but now I don't have to consciously think about it.
Right.
See, there's 4 stages of competence, right?
Yeah.
Competence, right? The first stage of competence, you're unconsciously incompetent.
Yeah.
This is where you don't even know that you don't even know.
Yeah. You're just,
Right?
you're naive and
Naive. You're just excited
Unaware.
to get started. You're unaware about everything. You have no idea what you're doing, no idea what you're talking about. You know you're going to fucking go become a billionaire tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
That's unconsciously incompetent.
Yeah.
The second stage is known as the quitting stage. This
That's
is where
when you
people
get
quit.
slapped in the face.
This is where you become consciously incompetent.
Yeah.
Now you realize, oh shit, this is much harder than I thought.
Yeah.
And I actually suck. When then the thought and the doubt starts to creep in, which is, maybe this is not for me. Will I ever get good at this?
Yeah.
Dang, dude, I don't know. This is really, really hard.
Oh, that little voice in your head talking to you.
Yeah, 80% of people quit at that phase. If you can get past that phase, you're going to get to phase 3. Mm-hmm. And phase 3, now it's downhill because now you become consciously competent.
Yeah.
Now you've learned the skills, you've learned the science to it, and you've learned how to put it together where now it looks like an art.
Yeah.
Right? Not totally there, but you now are like, oh, I'm getting results.
Yeah.
I'm good now.
Yeah.
Right?
That's like what we call like an intermediate.
Yeah, I'm intermediate. A master is at level 4. And that's where you become unconsciously competent. Mm-hmm. Where you're so good that you don't even know how good you are. Everybody around you can see it.
Yeah.
But you just think this is normal.
It's just second nature at this point.
There you go. So how do you get to a point where you've now made your craft second nature? That's where you've learned the science, but you've also learned how to put it together with the art.
Yeah.
And now it just looks like a masterpiece.
Yeah, I think the way you get to that position is through
a lot of trial and error.
You
have to make a bunch of mistakes.
And doing it. You know, it's like fighting. Yeah, you know, you train all the time, but then you still have to get in that ring and fight. Mm-hmm. You know, and then you look at your results from after that fight and you'd be like, this is what I need to work on. This is what I need to work on. Yep. You work on those things, you change them, and then you go back into another fight, and then you put your skills to the test.
Yep.
So, you know, like you said, the quitting stage, most people never get past to the point where they even allow themselves to get better.
Yeah.
You know, the first sign of rejection, the first sign of this is going to be hard, that's when people quit. You know, and we've talked about this a lot. I mean, we talk about having passion for what you're doing. Whatever you're doing out there, whether you're a dancer, whether you're a painter, whether you're a rapper, you're trying to be a financial services guru, you're trying to be a marketer, and you're telling people like, hey, this is what I'm about. This is what I want to do. You know, like here's my business card. You know, and you're getting rejected. Nobody's listening to your music. Nobody comes to your dance. Nobody is doing anything. And you're like, damn, this is harder than I thought. In my head, I was going to be the next, you know, Kanye. I was going to be the next whatever. Yeah. You know, I started my own clothing company. You know, you and 3 billion other freaking people out there. Yeah. What makes you different?
But you have the greatest idea in your head, right?
Yeah. What makes you different? What makes you unique?
Oh, just trust me, dog. My shit is fire, dog. Yeah.
You know, and you have to have passion for your skill set, and you actually have to have some talent. You know, unfortunately, you do have to have some talent, and you know, talent is rare, which is why most people are not successful, unfortunately. But it doesn't mean that you can't be successful in what you choose to do, because there's a reason why you have that in you. You know, like I'm sure, and we've talked about this since you were a little kid playing football, something in you told you like, I want to be successful, but I don't know in what. I thought I was gonna be football, but now I'm doing something else.
Yeah, totally.
You know, you believed in yourself. And even though myself, you know, I kind of suffered with a lot of, you know, depression and anxiety and self-doubt. Deep inside of me, I felt that I had some value to provide to the world, and I wanted to be successful in somehow, which is why even though I was dealing with all these emotional turmoil as a kid and even as an adult, you know, I still challenged myself and put myself in tough situations to grow. And I think people out there have that, but they're just afraid to go for it, you know, and afraid to go through that rejection. And it sucks because I feel that the world can be in a way better place, you know, if people actually decided to, you know, get out of their comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, and I have to say this once again, proper respect to AZD and San Jose IMC Nation. The reason I give him so much credit for a lot of things that I say, because this man has really taught me a lot of the things that I'm telling you. And, you know, recently he said this. He said, you know, there's a lot of things you really can't take credit for, right? If you're really good at playing the piano and that's your passion, that's because that seed was already inside of you.
Yeah.
Right? If you are just a natural born speaker, you're a great public speaker, right? Mm-hmm. That seed was already inside of you, right? And I really agree with that. I believe in that 100% because it takes me back to when I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Right? I played football growing up. Now that seed of I'm going to be in the NFL, that wasn't in me. However, when I was 7, I remember sitting with my mom across the table telling my mom that I was going to become successful. However, I thought it would be football. Yeah. But I was telling her I'd be successful. I'm going to buy her a home and I'm going to take care of her. And I was 7 years old. And I remember like it was yesterday. Right? Now, football didn't work out. But that fire inside of me never died.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I realized that football wasn't going to be it, I dropped football like a bad habit. Football didn't mean anything to me the next day.
Yeah.
And my parents looked at me and they're like, what's up with you, dude? You've been playing football since 7 to 17 years old, you know, and you don't want to play anymore? Like you don't care about it anymore? I said, bro, I have no interest in football anymore. I have interest in I'm looking a way to make some money. Right? And so then, you know, here we are today. And I would have never guessed in my life I'd be doing what I'm doing today. But proper respect to you because you were the one that introduced me to it.
That's right.
And so check this out.
I forget that sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. And AZD said this one time, a long time ago. He said this, you know, think about when you were a little kid, right? Think about when you were a child and you're playing PlayStation. Like my game when I was PlayStation 1 was Crash Bandicoot.
Oh,
remember that?
Dude, I got to tell you a funny story about Crash Bandicoot. Okay. So we were so poor growing up that somehow we came across a PlayStation and we couldn't afford the freaking memory card. So the one game I had was Crash Bandicoot, dude. We had Crash Bandicoot. And I fucking would play that game for hours and hours and hours.
And then start at the fucking beginning?
I played, yeah, bro. I played that beginning, all from the beginning to the end, like so many times.
You mastered that shit.
I mastered the game. I could like get through it like soup.
That's depressing, bro.
Is depressing as hell, bro. But I love that game, but I hate it also because of that.
That's depressing. Dude, PlayStation 1, Crash Bandicoot had all the Crash Bandicoots, the race Crash Bandicoot had all that, right?
Yeah.
Another game was Spyro. You remember Spyro with the little dragon?
Yeah, the little dragon.
So I say this because...
That's another funny thing because initially I had the demo that came with the PlayStation.
Oh, okay, got you. Spyro?
For like a year, bro. I played Spyro the first 15 minutes of Spyro.
And then it cuts off? Yeah. That's funny, dude. So, but I bring that up because think about this, right? When you were a kid and you were playing Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, whatever your game was, right? Those games where it was like a one player mode. Yeah. And you had the possibility of dying and then you had to start back at the same position, all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you've ever played long enough, right, and you would die, let me ask you guys a question. Everybody listening, think about this question. Whenever you died, did that discourage you and be like, fuck, I'm turning this fucking PlayStation off, roll up the fucking remote, I'm done with this stupid game, I'm never playing it again? I would guarantee, I would bet that the majority of people will say, nah, it fucking pissed me off. I was like, fuck, dude. Me? I would die, and then I would be like, fuck, man. And then I would fucking go again. And I'd die again. And I'm like, son of a fucking bitch. And I go again, right? And next thing you know, after 5 times of dying and I can't pass a certain level, my mom is fucking hearing me in another room. She's like, I'm screaming in my room, fucking yelling at the TV. Yeah. And she's like, if you can't learn how to play that game without fucking yelling, I'm taking that game away, right? So then I'm like, fuck, my mom's now on to me. And now I die again. And now I want to scream. But now I'm like, my fucking mom's going to be pissed off at me, right?
Screaming into the pillow and shit.
And so here's my point. The more that I struggled, the more that I failed in that game, the more it actually enticed me to continue to move forward, to continue to go, to continue to say, one more try, I'm going to get this motherfucker.
Right.
That seed is already, for some people, for a lot of people, the seed's already in you.
Yeah.
The seed of what? Of overcoming failure. Now, that sounds very childish because I'm talking about a childish game, but it doesn't change because you're an adult.
Right. You're
It's
still
the same
playing the
thing.
game, bro.
You're playing the game, and it's the game of life.
Right.
So when I got involved in business and sales and all this stuff, right, leadership, at 19 years old, I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. I failed a lot.
Yeah.
I failed a whole lot. But every time I failed, it just drove me to, fuck, man, I gotta beat this level.
Yeah.
So my whole career, 11 years now, has just simply been, I gotta fucking beat this level.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you when it comes to that because that's what life is. It's a game.
That's it.
And the problem is that there's a lot of traps. There's way more traps in real life than these games that us humans create. You know, you get stuck in something for the rest of your life, and you can make a tactical error, and you can be screwed. You know, and a lot of people have made those errors where it's just, damn, bro, sorry, but you're done. Yep. You know, they committed a crime where now they're in prison for the rest of their life. Like, you know, you're pretty much done. I mean, you can maybe write a book in there and change your life somehow in there, maybe impact some people. And I'm not saying that people that go to prison can't, you know, have some kind of value and still, you know, have some kind of purpose in their life, but it's limited. You know, it's limited, and it's a sad life. And some people just make the even worse errors, and they end up killing themselves, or, you know, somehow making an error, and then they're done, or getting trapped in a job that they're miserable in, and they retire, and they're flat broke and bitter. And, you know, sometimes people go through breakups and divorce, and they just become really vicious, poisonous people, you know, and they hate the whole world. And these traps, they've been there forever, you know, and people have experienced these, and there's answers to them, you know. So one thing that you talked about is, you know, that you're in a leadership position now, where you're teaching people how to not fall into those traps. Mm-hmm. You know, that's, you know, the way I look at it, that's what a leader is. Someone that's been through it, that's been through war, you know, that's had to fight, you know, to the death, and has scars, and, you know, maybe has a patch on his eye and shit because he lost it. And now he can guide other people and prevent them from going through what they did and becoming successful as well, because they have one purpose. Yeah. You know, like if you're a general in the army, you have one purpose. You're looking to win this war. And, you know, through the experience that you live through, you don't want your men to die. Yep. You know, you don't want them to not return home and be with their family. So you train them very, very, very hard. And, you know, and when you go on a mission, the goal is to get the outcome done and then come back. Yep. You know, and that's what a leader does. So tell me a little bit about your experience from going from, you know, essentially new to sales, you know, a student, and turning into a leader in that position.
Yeah, everybody glorifies leader, right? Leadership. Everybody glorifies the idea of them being a leader, but they don't realize. For most people, they don't realize that what that means really is that you have more responsibility. And what it really means is you have more eyes on you. And what it really means is when you make mistakes, your mistakes are now amplified.
Right.
That's really what leadership is. Now, there's a lot of rewards that come with it. You know, the pride and the being able to see the fact that you've impacted other people's lives. And
right.
I think people like that. That's what they're enticed by. But yeah, you know, I didn't know how to lead anybody. You know, I thought I did. This is how I led when I first began. I've always been a very driven person. Okay, this is the reality. I've always been driven. Very little times in my life, very, very few times in my life, have I ever needed any type of encouragement for anything. Yeah. I've always been my own hype man. I've always been my own encourager. You know, I've always encouraged myself. Yeah. If I wanted to do something, I encouraged myself. I really didn't need any encouragement. Now, that's not to say that I haven't had times where I'm down and out and maybe somebody came along and helped me pick me up. But those times were very, very few compared to I get motivated and I'm fucking ready to go, right? Yeah. And then it's in the beginning, I thought everybody was like that. you know? And I thought, if I bring on Jack and Jill here, and they're brand new to the team, I'm expecting and assuming, Jack, get your fucking shit together, bro. Jill, what are you fucking crying about?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? You know, you guys are, so I'm leading by assumption, by thinking that these people are just like me.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me years to get, but that's actually probably the furthest from the truth. The reality is everybody's totally different. The reality is everybody needs to be treated different. And in the beginning of my career, when I was leading other people, I treated them like I treat myself.
Yeah, that's a huge lesson, and you can see that big time in sports. That team sports, not individual sports, but a little bit more in team sports, where you play the leader, the coach. You know, plays their player to their strengths. You know, that's why that guy's the pitcher, because he's good at pitching. You know, that's why the guy's the batter. That's why that guy's the running back. That's why that guy's the quarterback. He's got a good arm. That guy's fast. Each person is different, both their biology and their psychology and everything, you know? So not every human is different in one way or another. We all are the same in certain senses, but in other ways we're motivated differently. We're inspired differently. We, like you said, a good leader knows his team and knows how to get them to move, how to inspire them, motivate them, encourage them when they need to be encouraged, you know, be harsh on them when it needs to be harsh on them. And that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of studying and understanding psychology and human behavior. And it takes time getting to know your people. And from my experience, when I see a good leader and they usually have not a lot of people close to them. They have like maybe 3 to 5 key players that they're like super close to them. Like they know them intimately. They know their life story. They know what motivates them. They know, you know, how their childhood went. So they can tell, you know, by their upbringing, you know, what their psychological triggers are, you know, and they can make a certain little phrase and that'll fire that person up. I'll be like, so what would your son think of that if you were to give up right now? Like, oh shit, you just like trigger that fool, you know, or like, hey man, do this for your mom. I know you've been trying to do this to blah, 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 or whatever it is that they do. Or, you know, this guy's super competitive. Be like, hey, you're going to let this guy beat you? You know, boom, you just fired up that guy. To where if you say that to another person,
it would totally implode.
Yeah, they'll be like, I quit.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
So understanding psychology is key for a good leader. Understanding emotional triggers in people and understanding all of that, and it takes some kind of intellect to do that. And from my experience, usually a leader has 3 to 5 people that they know very, very intimately, and then they have them develop everybody else. Yeah. You know, so so I know in your line of work, you're literally doing that. You know, you're developing people and trying to get them to rise up to the best version of themselves. And I commend that, because it's a hard task. You're essentially like a freaking therapist, and you're a personal coach, and you're a financial coach, and you're a mentor,
you're
and
a father figure.
You're like everything to these people, and they look up to you in a lot of ways because they see you as a person that's going to help them accomplish their dreams in life. And it's a lot of responsibility. And like you said, people look at leadership like it's all sunshine and rainbows, but you're really dealing with some harsh stuff, you know. And you're now, if someone passes away in any one of your team's life, that affects you. You know, it affects them, affects you. You know, hardships in life, people getting sick, people, you know, having family members pass away, like all these things. Now you have to guide them emotionally through that. Yeah, you know,
I've had people come to me and tell me the first time I've ever met them, I don't know, I have anybody else to talk to, but I have to talk to somebody. A few days ago, I tried to commit suicide, and I'm like, well, hello, nice to meet you too.
Dang.
You know, and you have to realize, like, okay, there's a reason why this person is coming to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't know that reason right now in the moment, because I'm thinking like, well, that's some heavy shit.
Yeah.
But I've had that. You know, I've had that. I've also had, you know, people going through breakups and people going through loss of loved ones or whatever, tragic stuff like that. And, you know, like, for instance, you know, the last guest that we had on this podcast, was Richard Roybal. If you go back one episode, you'll see we had Richard. Richard is somebody that I've worked with for the last 2 years now, probably 2 years.
Yeah.
And working with him, I work with him totally different than I work with somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And so working with him really kind of sped up my leadership curve, because he himself in his own right, he's a leader. He wants to be a leader.
Yeah.
So now it's very easy for a leader to lead followers.
Yeah.
It's very, very easy to.
It's like, yeah.
And I've been there too.
Like a wolf leading sheep is easy, but a wolf leading
another wolf is very challenging.
And even more than that, a wolf leading other alpha wolves. You know?
Yeah, very, very true. Because the alpha wolf that you're leading wants the top spot too.
Yeah.
So now how do you get the alpha wolf to follow you and submit to you, but at the same time he doesn't feel like he's following you? So it's very challenging.
You become the omega. You
see, so it's very, very challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging, but you are in those positions and you learn how to do it. Now, I'm proud to say, you look at a guy like Richard, under my leadership, under what I taught him, the guy became a 6-figure income earner.
Right.
Became a franchise owner, and his income is through the roof. His life has changed, right? Now, that's not to diminish the work that he's put in. He's put in a lot of work. But at the same time, everything rises and falls off of leadership.
Right.
And so, I work with him different than I work with somebody else. With Richard, he's the kind of character that wants to be really left alone. He's the kind of character that wants to be given the space and opportunity to be able to create and basically fail and trial and error is basically his thing. And then I have other people that they really crave the attention, they crave the orders, they like the tough coaching.
Yeah.
But that's their thing. And so it's weird to me because I'm like, you want me to be on your ass like that? And they'll say like, yeah, I love it. That's what I need. That's what I need in the morning. Hey, okay, man. And they're not punks.
Yeah.
They're not. They're a leader in their own right, but it's just that's what they're about. They like that.
Yeah.
Then there's other people like Richard where it's like, he's the kind of guy where it's like, all right, just tell me the task and then just leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
If the task is not done, then say something to me.
Yeah.
But don't say nothing to me during the time when I'm doing the task.
Yeah.
And I got another guy who's like, bro, how come you didn't call me today? I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. Hey, how come you don't care? You don't give a fuck? Like, dude, wow. You see, so you have to work. What I've learned in leadership is that you work with everybody totally different. Now, disclaimer, the standards are the same. What does that mean? The standards to maintain a good environment, that stays the same across the board.
Yeah.
But the way you interact with people, that's what changes.
Yeah. And
so it took me years to get that because back then I just interacted with everybody one constant way.
Yeah.
And I blew a lot of people out.
Yeah. I leadership is one of the subjects that I really want to dive deep to in our podcast and that we're going to be diving deep into. I actually have Art Martinez, which was one of my first mentors in business, and right now currently your direct mentor.
He's the one that taught me the game.
Going to be coming out on the podcast at the end of the month. This guy makes over $1 million a year.
Yep.
He's
high school
dropout, self-made man, and when I met him, he was driving a beat up purple Ranger, and he had like a little ranch house in Mariloma. Now this dude's driving Ferrari. He's got Lamborghinis. Stuff, He's got all kinds of exotics. He's got properties all over the world, and he's got a freaking mansion in Rancho, and like he's killing it, and I know his story. Because I've heard him talk about it, but I want him to come on and really dive deep into his leadership philosophy and his life story and his philosophies, because he's impacted a lot of people, including myself and you, in a significant way. Totally. So I'm really excited about that podcast that's going to be coming up, and we can obviously talk on our experience when it comes to that as well. But tell me a little bit more about what you're doing right now, brother. What are you focusing on as far as your goals for the next coming months? I know you just developed Roybal to becoming a regional vice president, making 6 figures now. Mm-hmm. Are you looking to reproduce that again with someone else, or what are you focusing on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Before the year is over, the mission is to promote 2 more regional vice presidents.
Yeah.
I have one brothers. They're like in a tandem.
Yeah.
And so I'm working with them very closely.
What are their names?
We call them the Barrio Bros.
What's up, Barrio Bros?
Yeah, Gilbert and Anthony Barrios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but they are, I believe for sure, they're definitely, vice president material.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm working with them to get them to VP.
Yeah.
That'll be the number 2. Number 3, I have some people. I have some people in the system. Who are still learning, still growing, and we got to give it some more time. But I have great hopes for those.
Are you looking to bring in some new people, or are you kind of focusing on the ones that you have right now?
Yeah, currently I'm looking to bring in some new people. I'm looking to train some about 4 to 5 new people as well. And so basically, what it entails is, I'm going to be personally mentoring these people, like I mentored Roybal and all these other guys.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to get your licenses in the financial services arena.
Right.
And create your own hours, create your own schedule, and really just there's no cap on your income, but you have to be willing to work, you have to be willing to show up, you have to be willing to learn.
Listen, people, if you're out there and you're looking to get into a new business, you don't know what it is yet, but you need to make some more money, hit up Chris. He's a great leader, great mentor, not only in business but in life. And man, what else you got going on, bro?
That's it, man. I mean, that's really it. I'm on a mission right now. I'm going to get to $1 million in income. My goal is $1 million in income, net income, within the next 12 months.
Do you believe that?
I believe it. There was a time and place in my life where I said it and I didn't believe it, but I just kept saying it. I believe it. And I believe it because I've seen too many people do it. But I'm also at a point in my life where my belief is really there. So, you gotta, if people gotta understand, you're never gonna outwork your belief level. Right, and I
Say
get
that again.
Now.
What do you mean?
You're never gonna outwork your belief level. Right? If you don't believe you're capable of doing something, you're not gonna put the work in.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm at a point in my life where I really do sincerely believe that, and I know I can do it, and I know I am gonna do it. And so, in order to do that, of course, I got to train more people, help more people become successful, like Roybal and these Barrio brothers and other people. Yeah. And so, I'm looking to bring on 4 to 5 people who want to, run with me into that journey. Yeah. And of course, their life is going to be changed in the process. So
that's awesome, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. What about you?
Yeah. I got a bunch of stuff going on right now. In my videography business, right now I'm kind of shooting all kinds of events, and I do anything from weddings to quinceañeras to doing photo shoots for families. I do products for companies. I shoot commercials for companies. But I'm looking to niche down and just focus mostly on shooting commercials for businesses, for social media marketing, and then scale that up to where I can get like corporate contracts with like major companies. Because right now it's a lot of work that I do. And the compensation it sounds like it's a lot, but it's really not when you take into account the amount of time.
And the expense?
Yeah, like all my equipment is expensive, and then it takes a long time to edit all these videos and pictures. So even though on an hourly basis, if you're thinking like an employee, I'm making like $150 an hour, $200 an hour, people think like, oh, that's pretty good, if you look at it like an employee. Yeah. But if you're looking at it as a business owner, like that ain't shit. You have a lot of other expenses. You have your time, and how are you going to scale that up? So I'm looking to hire a mentor that specifically focuses on that. Yeah. So that's something I'm going to be working on between now and the end of the year, is kind of transitioning over my business. So for now, I'm still doing all the events. So whatever you guys need out there, if you have a quince, birthday, whatever, I'll do it. Yeah. But later on, I'm going to be scaling that, and the podcast, obviously, I'm working on growing it as well, doing some marketing stuff online, and looking to get more guests to come on. I think we've had some really good guests so far, but I'm looking to get even more guests to come on, in all kinds of fields. Totally. And one of the other projects that I'm working on right now as well.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, we since the beginning of the podcast, we kind of like focused on, development, personal development, success, and so forth. So I want to put together I'm going to put together a men's development program or seminar where we're going to be touching on a couple of different subjects, and people are going to walk away with practical knowledge.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
That they can implement into their life immediately and to see their life transform in a very rapid way. Because most men don't have any mentor or guide or anything, and they're just out there and, they're trying to figure out what to do. So this seminar that I'm going to put together, it's going to be like a one-day event where they come in, and I'm going to have a couple of different guest speakers. I already have 3 of them lined up, and the subjects that they're going to be talking on. The first one's going to be my good friend, Dr. Corey Castillo. He's got a educational doctorate, an EDD in business leadership. He's also has a coaching business, a personal coaching business where he mentors executives and CEOs of huge companies. He's very successful in that, and he's also a CFO for like a large law firm, and the guy's really, really smart. He's going to be coming on our podcast as well, but he's going to be talking about masculinity, and the guy is a man's man. Like when you meet him, like he's a really bright guy, but he's a powerful dude, and he's going to talk about masculinity and what it means to be a man. And the seminar is a men's development seminar, but it's open to the public. So if women want to come, they're more than welcome to come and learn as well. So he's going to touch on that, and obviously I'm going to have you speak as well on relationships and on social dynamics and communication, because you can be very successful in business, but if you don't have good relationships with the opposite sex, with your partner, with your business partnerships, if you don't know how to communicate, you're going to have a miserable life. So I want people to leave with practical knowledge on how to get what they want, how to find the partner that is going to make them happy and how to keep them. And then we're going to talk about fitness and health, so I'm going to be having someone talk about that, how to stay in shape and be healthy, because what's the point of being successful and wealthy if you're sick? You can't enjoy your life. And then the last one's going to be about finances and business. I was thinking of asking Roy Ball to talk a little bit about that. And I might have a few other people to come in and talk about that. And I'm still contemplating whether I want to have a subject on spirituality or not. I'm kind of deciding whether I want to put that into the program. So I'm going to be opening up each guest speaker and touching on a couple of different subjects on what the guest speaker's main subject's going to be. It's almost going to be like a little TED talk for each person, and it's going to be recorded. So people are going to be able to see it anywhere in the world. Yeah. And we're going to be having it here in Pasadena. I believe the maximum people we can have is about 45, but I think we're going to pack out the room the first event. And in the long run, I'm going to have it as like an ongoing program where, you can get a lot of information in different subjects that are going to help you in your life, because personal development has been something that has been in my life since I read that, How to Win Friends and Influence People book back when I was like 16 years old. I was super into, just development and self-help and, the mind and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's really helped me, and I hope it's going to help other people as well and just get them on the right track, instead of doing stupid shit and just playing video games at home and, not doing nothing with their life.
Yeah, I'm excited for this event, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
And, so I'm thinking it's probably the first event I'm going to do it for free, just to have people experience it and get a feeling of what we're going to be offering. Mm-hmm. And, we are going to have some stuff for sale, because obviously there are expenses that are going to come out of my pocket, so I'm going to get some merchandise that people can purchase just to help, or if they want to donate, they can donate to that. So I'll have all those links up as we get closer to the event. But I'm thinking closer to about September, October is when we're going to have the first event. But I really need to sit down and spend some time and come up with the name for the program, come up with the marketing for it, come up with the format, make sure I lock in the guest speakers, lock in the event and everything. So it's a lot of work, but I already got 3 speakers plus the videographer, my boy Jet. You know, he was on the podcast. He said he's excited about it too, and he's gonna be shooting it. So he's gonna help out with that. But yeah, man, I think today's episode was very jam-packed with information.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, this is something that me and you live. So I know to us, it was probably like, oh, shit, we talked about this.
Yeah, this is just another conversation.
A gazillion times, you know, and, it's easy for us to talk about it. But a lot of people out there, they don't, really listen to these type of conversations much. So it might be something that's eye-opening to them. Like, I remember the first time I heard certain things, how it impacted me, and I hope that some people out there are listening and, certain things that we say impacts them the same way.
Yeah.
I was like, when you hear those little golden nuggets that trigger something in your mind, you're like, that's what I was missing. That's what I need to implement. That's what I need to do. And that's the value that I'm talking about that people will buy. And guess what? You just got sold. I'm just kidding. And y'all didn't even know it. Damn, I'm good, bro.
There you go.
Yeah, bro. But so I think that pretty much wraps it up for today. Is there anything else you want to tell the people out there?
Just other than, everybody that's been supporting us and watching every single episode and sharing them and subscribing and commenting and liking and all that good stuff. Sincerely, from myself and from Annabelle, we really do appreciate your support.
Thank you,
we're having fun doing it. We're having a lot of fun doing this. And we are going to have some big names coming up on this podcast to give you guys more value. So super excited about it. Excited for that event. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Stay tuned, guys. Make sure you follow, subscribe. Stay tuned for everything that's to come.